Chosen one, this moment is not a random occurrence. It's part of a divine story that was written long before you even realized it. As you stand at the threshold of something extraordinary, the weight of this moment may feel overwhelming. It's not just another chapter in your life. It is the climax of everything you've endured, every challenge you've faced, and every battle you've fought. You may wonder why the fight seems fiercer, why the warfare has intensified right when you thought you were about to break through. But listen carefully, this is not a sign of defeat. It is in fact the clearest indication that you are closer to your destiny than you think. The pressure you feel is proof of it's not chaos, it's convergence, the collision between your calling and the last wave of resistance trying to hold you back from what is yours. The storms that tried to sink you, the fires that should have burned you, the losses that threatened to define you, and the betrayals that cut deeper than words, none of it has the power to destroy you. In fact, it's in these very moments of hardship that your strength has been forged. Every trial has carved wisdom into your spirit. Every tear you've shed has watered the roots of your purpose. You have been prepared for this moment, chosen and equipped to rise. You might look back and wonder, why was I made to go through so much? But the truth is, you weren't being punished. You were being prepared. The battles weren't meant to break you. They were meant to build you. Heaven wasn't ignoring your cries. It was forging you into something stronger, more resilient, and ready to carry the crown that is waiting for you. That crown is not just a symbol of victory, it's the testimony of your endurance, your faith, and the divine purpose that has been written into your life from the very beginning. Right now, you may feel as though you've reached the edge of your strength. You might wonder if you can make it through this final stretch. But hear this, you are closer than you think. The final battle, the one that feels impossible to win, is actually the confirmation that your victory is near. It's the last test before the fulfillment of God's promise over your life. Don't give up now. The crown is within reach, and everything you've endured has been a setup for the glory that is about to be revealed in you. This is not the time to turn back, to retreat, or to let fear dictate your next steps. The battle you're facing is a confirmation of your purpose and your victory. You are a chosen one, and this moment, this final push, will lead you into a season of reigning, of walking in the fullness of the promise that God has prepared for you. So stand firm, rise with courage, and remember the crown is closer than it has ever been. The pressure you're feeling right now is not a sign of failure. It's the clearest indication that you are closer to your breakthrough than ever before. When you stand on the verge of destiny, the resistance seems to increase, and the intensity of the battles heightens. But let me tell you this pressure is proof that you are on the brink of something extraordinary. You are dangerously close to stepping into the very thing that God has prepared for you, and the enemy knows it. That's why the fight has intensified. The closer you get to your purpose, the stronger the forces that oppose it will become. But this pressure, this resistance is not a curse, it's a confirmation. In every spiritual journey, the last stretch is always the hardest. Think of the athlete in the final moments of a marathon. At the start, there's excitement and energy, and in the middle, there's rhythm and endurance. But as the finish line nears, the muscles ache, the breath becomes shallow, and the body feels as though it might collapse. Yet the athlete pushes forward knowing that what waits on the other side is worth every painful step. This is where you are now. You may feel like you can't take another step, like the weight of the battle is too much to bear. But in reality, the closer you are, it's important to understand that the warfare you are facing is not chaos, it's convergence. The enemy is not fighting you because he believes he can stop you. He is fighting you because he knows what's at stake. He knows that you are carrying something of immense value, and his only weapon is to make you believe that the pressure is a sign that you should quit. But don't be fooled. The intensity around you is not an indication that God is far. It is a sign that heaven is drawing near, preparing to usher you into the fullness of your purpose. Every moment of hardship, every tear, every sleepless night has led you to this point. You may not see it now, but every battle, every struggle has been shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for what's ahead. The resistance you're facing is not blocking your path. It's actually confirming that you're on the right track. The enemy only fights what he fears, and he fears you. He fears the power you carry, the destiny that's written over your life, and the crown that is already set aside for you. That is why the opposition is relentless. So, chosen one, don't be discouraged by the pressure. It's not a sign that you're failing, it's proof that you are closer to the breakthrough than you've ever been. You are standing at the intersection of your past and your future, and the battle you're fighting right now is the last hurdle before you step into the fullness of God's plan for your life. Keep moving forward, because the crown is just on the other side of this final fight. The pressure is not your enemy, it's the refining fire that will propel you into your destiny. You may feel like you've been through more than you can bear, but the truth is, your current battle is not a sign of weakness, it is a declaration of your strength. Every struggle, every storm, and every trial you've faced has been a building block in your journey, a testament to the resilience that has been forged in you through fire. The pressure you're experiencing is not meant to break you, but to reveal the strength you didn't know you had. You are not the same person you were when you started this journey. Each battle has shaped you, molded you, and prepared you for the greatness that is ahead. In moments of intense pressure, it's easy to believe that you are being punished, that you've done something wrong, or that God has forgotten you. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The battles you faced were never about breaking you, they were about building you. Heaven wasn't ignoring you during your hardest moments. It was working behind the scenes. Your pain was not punishment, it was preparation. God does not waste anything in your life. Every tear, every sleepless night, every setback, and every heartbreak has been part of a divine process that has strengthened you in ways you may not yet fully understand. You may have wondered why things had to be so hard, why it felt like you were being stretched to your breaking point. The reason is simple: you were being prepared to carry something of immense value. The crown that awaits you is not just a symbol of victory, it's a reflection of the strength, endurance, and perseverance you've developed through these trials. You see, your strength is not measured by how easily you can win battles. It's measured by your ability to keep fighting, to keep believing, and to keep moving forward, even when the odds seem insurmountable. There were times when quitting seemed easier, when giving up felt like the only way out. But you didn't quit. You rose every time you fell, you kept fighting every time you were knocked down, and you held on to your faith when everything around you told you to let go. That is what true strength looks like. The Apostle Paul understood this truth when he wrote in 2 Timothy 4:7-8, "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith." Notice the order: fight, finish, keep. The crown doesn't come after comfort, it comes after conflict. It comes to those who refuse to quit, even when quitting would have been the easier option. And you, chosen one, are one of those people. You have kept the faith even in the face of opposition. You have finished the race even when it seemed like the finish line was miles away. You have fought the good fight, and now the crown is within reach. So don't be discouraged by the battle you are facing today. It is not a reflection of your weakness. It is a testament to the strength that has been cultivated in you. The enemy only fights what he fears, and he fears the power that is rising up in you. He fears your ability to overcome, your ability to persevere, and your ability to rise, even in the midst of the storm. The crown that awaits you is not just a reward for survival. It is a reflection of the strength that God has built within you. Through every challenge, every trial, and every battle you've faced, keep pressing forward. The fight isn't over yet, but you are stronger than you know, and the victory is already written in the heavens. The crown that awaits you is not just a symbol of victory. It's a powerful representation of everything you've endured and everything you've become. In Scripture, Crowns are not given to the loud or the privileged, but to the faithful, those who persevered through adversity, who endured with integrity, and who continued to walk in obedience even when it was difficult. The crown you will wear is not a shallow ornament. It is a declaration that you have been refined by fire, that you have endured the trials and the battles, and that you have remained faithful to your calling. The crown represents the culmination of your journey. It symbolizes not just the triumph of reaching your destination, but the deep and sacred transformation that has taken place within you along the way. Without the heat, without the trials, the gold would remain dull. But once it has been purified, it shines with a brilliance that reflects the glory of God. There are different crowns mentioned in Scripture, each with its own significance. James 1:1-2 speaks of the crown of life for those who endure trials and remain steadfast. This crown is given to those who face hardship and suffering, but continue to trust God through it all. It's the crown of victory over pain, the reward for those who keep their faith even in the most difficult times. Then there's the crown of glory mentioned in 1 Peter 5:4. This crown is promised to those who serve and lead with humility and integrity. It is for those who pour themselves out for others, who sacrifice their own comfort for the good of God's kingdom. It's a crown not of self-promotion but of selflessness, for those who choose to serve in ways that reflect God's love and leadership. Lastly, there is the crown of righteousness in 2 Timothy 4:8, reserved for those who live with eternity in mind, longing for the return of Christ. This crown is for those who live faithfully, keeping their eyes fixed on the eternal rewards rather than the fleeting comforts of this world. It is a crown of righteousness because it reflects a life lived in right standing with God, a life that has not wavered in the face of opposition, but has been steadfast in following the way of Christ. Each crown represents something that God values deeply: endurance, faithfulness, service, and righteousness. And as you prepare to step into the fullness of your destiny, understand that the crown that awaits you is not just a reward for surviving your struggles, it is a reward for the way you navigated them with grace, strength, and faith. Your crown bears the weight of your sacrifices, the price you paid to walk in obedience to your calling, and the love you poured out even when it was hard. When you wear your crown, it will speak not just of your victory, but of the journey that led you there. It will declare that you didn't just survive your trials, you overcame them. You didn't just carry the cross, you carried it with faith and endurance. Every trial you faced, every hardship you overcame, every prayer you whispered in the dark will be reflected in the brilliance of the crown that God has prepared for you. And when you stand before God, that crown will not only shine with the weight of your victory, but with the testimony of God's faithfulness in your life. It will declare that you were faithful to the end, that you pressed on when others would have quit, and that you chose faith over fear. It will be a symbol of God's glory revealed in and through you, a living testimony that He finishes what He starts. Throughout Scripture, we see a consistent pattern. Every divine calling leads to a defining moment, a final test, before the promise is fulfilled. This is a spiritual principle woven into the fabric of every great story of faith. Think about the journey of the Israelites. While they were in Egypt, their trials were harsh, but nothing compares to the intensity of the pursuit they faced at the Red Sea. It was there at the brink of their breakthrough that the enemy pursued them with everything he had, seeking to undo the promise of freedom. But it was at that very moment, when they were seemingly trapped between an army and the sea, that God made a way where there seemed to be no way. Similarly, David didn't face Goliath at the beginning of his life. He faced him at the threshold of his destiny. Goliath was not just any giant. He was the last test before David's anointing as king could be fully realized. This battle stood between David and the kingdom that had been promised to him. It was a battle that would define David's faith and his identity in God's plan. Had he turned back in fear, the story would have been different. But David, trusting in the God who had been faithful in the past, faced that giant with courage, and it was in that battle that he stepped into the fullness of his calling. Even Jesus, the Son of God, didn't begin his ministry by carrying the cross. It was at the very end of his earthly journey, when the fulfillment of his divine purpose was drawing near, that he faced the ultimate test, the cross. The crucifixion was the final hurdle before the resurrection and the glory that would follow. Jesus' path to glory was paved with suffering, but it was through that suffering that he made a way for all of humanity. His greatest victory came after his greatest battle. This is how destiny works. The last battle is always the hardest, because it stands between you and the fulfillment of God's promise. It's not punishment, it's placement. The challenges you face in this final stretch are not signs that God has abandoned you, or that they are signs that you are being proven, tested, and refined. It's not chaos, it's convergence. The battle you are facing is the collision between your calling and the last resistance, trying to keep you from stepping into the fullness of what God has prepared for you. Paul captured this principle perfectly in 2 Timothy 4:7-8, when he wrote, "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness." Notice the order: fight, finish, keep, crown. The crown doesn't come after comfort, it comes after conflict. The battle isn't the end, it's the means to the end. It is the final proof of your faith and your willingness to press forward to trust God, even when the road is rough and the enemy is relentless. This principle is evident in the lives of every biblical hero. Israel's freedom came after their hardest battle. David's kingship came after his battle with Goliath. Jesus' glory came after the cross. In your life, the final battle is not the end. It is the gateway to the fulfillment of the promises God has made over you. It's not about being blocked, it's about being tested, proven, and placed in the position where you can receive the crown that God has prepared for you. So if you are facing a battle right now that feels impossible, this is the final stretch, the last push, before you step into the new season God has prepared for you. The fight you're in is not there to break you, it's there to build you. Keep fighting, keep pressing, keep believing, because on the other side of this battle is the fulfillment of your divine calling and the crown that awaits you. The victory is closer than you think. It's easy to look at the struggles you've faced and think that they were merely obstacles, or worse, signs of failure. But what if instead of seeing your trials as setbacks, you began to recognize them as divine setups for what God is preparing you to become? In every season of suffering and difficulty, the struggles you have faced are not random, they are part of a divine process that is shaping and refining you for your purpose. What you see as delay or hardship is actually a part of God's greater plan for your life. Think of the story of Joseph. His journey was filled with betrayal, rejection, and immense hardship. He was thrown into a pit by his brothers, sold into slavery, and wrongfully imprisoned. There were moments when it seemed as though his dreams had died and his destiny had been stolen. Yet Joseph did not allow his circumstances to define him. He trusted in God's faithfulness, and in a single moment, everything changed. What seemed like a series of devastating setbacks were actually divine steps toward his ultimate purpose. Similarly, think of Hannah, who endured years of barrenness and unanswered prayers. She poured out her soul before God even when it seemed like her cries were going unheard. Yet in time God answered her prayers, and Samuel, a prophet who would change the course of Israel's history, was born. Her pain, her waiting was not in vain, it was divine preparation. Her story teaches us that what looks like delay is often God's perfect timing in motion, preparing us for something greater than we could have imagined. In the same way, we see Job's world was shattered. He lost everything, his wealth, his health, and even his family. His friends turned into accusers, and God seemed silent in his suffering. But through it all, Job clung to his faith. His story reminds us that even in the darkest hour, God is working, refining us, and preparing us for restoration. Job's reward came not at the beginning of his trials, but after he had endured. His faithfulness in the midst of suffering positioned him to receive double the blessings he had before. Your trials too are not an indication that God has forgotten you or that His promises have failed. They are part of your preparation. God is not testing you to see if you will fail. He is refining you to reveal the strength that has been hidden within you all along. Each challenge you face is like a spiritual workout, strengthening your faith, developing your character, and teaching you to rely on God's provision rather than your own strength. The enemy may want you to think that your pain is purposeless, that the waiting is wasted time. But God uses every moment to shape you into the person He created you to be. He is developing in you the endurance, wisdom, and character needed to carry the blessings He has in store for you. Without the pain, the pressure, and the process, you would not be prepared for the purpose that is ahead of you. Just as gold must go through the fire to be purified, your faith must go through the trials to be refined. Without resistance, muscles don't grow. Without pressure, diamonds don't form. Without suffering, your faith remains untested. But with each trial, you become stronger, more steadfast, and more equipped for the next step in your divine journey. So, chosen one, take heart in the midst of your struggles. They are not here to destroy you, they are here to prepare you. God is working behind the scenes, using every moment of hardship to refine your faith and shape you into the person who can carry the crown He has prepared for you. Your trials are not a sign of God's absence. They are the evidence of His presence, refining you and positioning you for the promises that are just ahead. Keep trusting, keep enduring, because the preparation is worth the crown that awaits you. The battle you are facing right now is not just for your own victory, it is for the legacy you will leave behind. The perseverance you show in this season will not only shape your life, but will echo through the generations to come. Your endurance, your refusal to give up, will inspire others to rise and fight, just as your own faith has been stirred by the stories of those who endured before you. When you step into your victory, it won't just be a personal triumph, it will be a testimony of God's faithfulness that will reverberate far beyond you. Your story will become a beacon of hope for others who are facing their own battles. What you are enduring today will one day be the very thing that helps others overcome. The trials you are walking through are not in vain. They are preparing you to be a living testimony of God's power to restore, to redeem, and to deliver. Think about the stories of people like David who, after defeating Goliath, went on to rule a nation. His victory wasn't just David's endurance in the face of overwhelming odds became a testimony for generations to come. His courage and faithfulness to God have inspired countless individuals to stand firm in their own battles. The Apostle Paul also understood the power of legacy. He endured imprisonment, shipwrecks, and countless trials, but his perseverance became the foundation of the early church. His letters, filled with wisdom and faith, still inspire and strengthen believers today. Paul's victory wasn't just about his personal journey, it was about the eternal impact of his faith. Similarly, Jesus' victory on the cross was not just for himself, it was for the salvation of all who would believe. His endurance through the agony of the cross became the ultimate example of sacrificial love, inspiring billions to live with faith, hope, and love. Jesus didn't just overcome the cross for himself. He did it for all of humanity. His victory brought freedom and redemption to the world, and that is the legacy he left. Your battle, too, is part of a larger story. You are not just fighting for yourself but for the generations that will come after you. Your victory will not only mark the end of a personal struggle but the beginning of a legacy that will inspire and encourage others to rise up and fight their own battles. Your endurance will become the evidence of God's faithfulness, and your victory will speak of His power to restore what the enemy tried to steal. The endurance you build today is not just about surviving the moment. It's about shaping your future, your family, your community, and even future generations. Your perseverance will bear fruit that others will reap. You are laying the foundation for something eternal. The crown you will wear will be a reflection of not only your personal victory but the impact your victory will have on those around you. Your legacy will not be measured by the ease of your path, but by your refusal to quit, by the courage you had to stand when. Your testimony will speak of God's faithfulness, and your victory will inspire others to keep pressing on. So keep fighting. Your victory is not just for you, it is for everyone who will be touched by your story, your faith, and your endurance. The crown you are about to receive is not just a reward for your personal journey. It is a legacy of hope, strength, and faith that will ripple out to those who follow in your footsteps. Let your battle today become the victory of tomorrow, not just for you, but for those who will be encouraged, inspired, and strengthened by the legacy you leave behind. Chosen one, as you stand at the edge of your breakthrough, I want to remind you, the battle you are fighting right now is not the end of your story. It's the final step before you step into the fullness of God's promises for your life. It may feel like you're being stretched beyond your limits, like you can't endure another moment of pressure, but I assure you, you are closer than you think. The crown is within reach, and it is in these final moments of intense struggle that your victory is secured. The pressure you're feeling isn't a sign of failure. It's proof that you are about to break through into something greater. You are not being abandoned in the midst of your battle. You are being refined, strengthened, and prepared for the next season of your life. Every tear you've shed, every moment of heartache, every time you felt alone in your struggle has been used by God to shape you into the person who is ready to wear the crown that awaits you. The very pressure that feels like it might crush you is the refining fire that is making you stronger, building you into the person who can carry the glory God has for you. Remember, the last battle before the promise is always the hardest. Whether it's the Israelites standing at the Red Sea, David facing Goliath, or Jesus on the... But it is through this final battle that your faith will be proven, your perseverance rewarded, and your purpose fulfilled. As Romans 8:1-8 reminds us, the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. The glory on the other side of this battle will far outweigh the pain you're enduring now. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to shrink back in fear. You are closer to your victory than you've ever been before. Keep moving forward. Hold on to your faith. Keep your eyes on the crown that awaits you, because it is not just a reward, it's a testimony of everything you've overcome, a sign of God's faithfulness and a reflection of His power working in and through you. And as you keep fighting, know this: your victory will not be just for you. It will be for those who are watching you, those who will be inspired by your perseverance, those who will rise because you refuse to quit. Your battle today is laying the foundation for a legacy that will impact generations to come. Your story will become a beacon of hope, a living testimony that God finishes. The crown that is waiting for you is not just a symbol of personal victory, it's a declaration of the faithfulness of God. It is a testimony to the world that you did not give up when everything seemed impossible. You kept your eyes on the prize, and you endured. You fought, you pressed on, and you overcame. So rise up, chosen one. The finish line is closer than it has ever been. You have come too far to quit now. Keep moving forward, keep believing, and keep fighting. The crown is waiting for you, and when you wear it, it will shine with the glory of all that God has brought you through. You are more than a conqueror, and your victory is certain. The battle is almost over, your reign is about to begin.